and it'll just.
So then I'm going to have to just watch my phone for comments, right? I think.
I have a pop-out chat on the right.
All right. Oh, yeah, I remember the pop-out chat.
Yeah, it's like at the little three dots right above the chat window in that in your studio there. Right next where it said live chat and top chat to the right of that. There's three
Hey,
dots.
everybody. I'm looking at my phone to see comments because we're streaming through Zoom into YouTube, and I just saw that I'm live. So, welcome, everybody. This is exciting. I have been looking forward to this for a very, very long time. These three ladies are among my most favorite women in the industry that we're in, and I'm going to introduce them to you, and then I'm going to introduce them to each other because we don't know we don't all know each other. So I'm going to make sure we all know each other, and
It's our
then
meet and greet, right?
it's a meet and greet portion of this meet and greet portion of FabFit Friday. And also, I got to take a break from talking about cleaning, which I have to say that's a little bit of a relief for me. I've already made progress. I'll make great project progress for next week. And just a spoiler, well, I don't know if it's a spoiler. Cool Tools is going to be something to help you organize your fabric. All right, so let me just look over here. Oh,
Hi,
first,
everybody.
so
I'm
let me
live.
start.
Everything's
So,
fine. I don't know how my sound is. You guys probably, Jen and I are both live streaming. You might get better quality from Jen's stream, but just let me know. Are you guys hearing the echo or is it cool? I can see a few people
so
commenting.
I'm gonna
Hi,
go to
Jessica.
my
Hi, Lena. Hi,
Sounds
Danny.
okay on my end, Saremy.
What's that?
It sounds okay
my
here for me.
For the live stream does? You're
yeah.
watching?
Well, you do on our.
Okay.
I'm trying to pull it up on my phone.
You sound good.
I'm
Okay,
trying
cool.
to
All
pull
I
right.
don't
it
have
up.
the
No echo.
bandwidth to check more than one channel, so.
All right, let's do it, Jen. Take it away.
Okay, so let me just introduce Saremy in the upper left-hand corner. She's my little, I always say little friend. She's my YouTuber friend that I met a couple years ago, and I actually have not met her in person either, but we chat on the phone and we do some joint things, and she is amazing. And I'm going to let her talk about how she got to where she is today in a minute. But Saremy does not know Katrina or Trish, so I'm introducing her to them. And then right below her is Katrina. She is our super amazing guest speaker who was a mystery. I wanted to keep a little intrigue on this whole thing. So Katrina is amazing. And last year at Sew Expo, she was my personal ambassador. She has been teaching at Sew Expo for like 20 plus years. She knows the ins and outs. And I'm not going to Sew Expo this year, and I wanted to get together all my pattern nerd friends so they would be okay without me. They would be okay without me anyway, but
No.
You're our pattern nerd godmother.
that's right. And then
Nerd godmother.
now Trish in the lower right-hand corner, I met her at the National ASG conference in New York, and also Katrina was there, so that's why they already know each other. But I feel like it's the four amigos who love to do a lot of the same stuff, and I thought it would be fun if we got together and just, shared some things about pattern drafting, fitting, and sewing, but also I want them to tell you about their amazing classes. So this is going to be a fun live stream. And I'm going to let Saremy start first. And while she's doing that, I'm going to figure out how to see this on my phone so I can answer and say comments. All right. So Saremy, go ahead.
What's the test question? What am I doing?
You're just telling us how you, like, how are you doing what you do right now?
How am I doing what I do? Okay, well, I'll try and be quick, but I've been in the garment industry for a long time, like 35 years or more, maybe. No, not 35 years. 32, something like that. And I did a lot of design and pattern drafting, mostly in the outerwear and garment industry. And then I started my own product line called Chicken Boots. And it was for knitting and crochet and fiber folks, like accessories. I'm doing a terrible job right now, but I did very functional, specific designs, and I had a little factory and we manufactured them, and it was an amazing business. It was doing amazing. But there was a really devastating fire in my area. I did not be affected by the fire directly, but everybody around me was, and like and even my assistant lost everything. So I just decided to just put Chicken Boots on hold because there's just no way I could make. I was making something like 10,000 items a year at that point, and it just all of a sudden it was only me. So it just was one of those things when I had started live streaming on the side for fun. I got into gaming. I really loved live streams and how you could get direct responses from people. And I just started live streaming just to kind of help other people who tried to do production sewing, drafting, manufacturing type stuff. And I didn't ever think it would be like big just because sewing is not gaming. And then when I had to close Chicken
But we
Boots,
might have a similar following. I'm just saying.
yeah, I actually looked at your background. I was like, oh, and plus, like, you live rurally, and so do I. Um, so I just kept streaming, and I've been just trying to figure out the home sewing industry. It's really different, but I've learned a lot, and I've met a lot of really amazing people, and here I am. And then I commented on one of Jen's. I sent Jen an email after a certain video she did, and I was like, hi. I really like what you said.
I know.
And she replied. So
That's how we got together.
yeah, exactly.
Excellent. All right, let me just stop and say hi to Cindy. Sure. Oh my goodness.
I'm gonna ignore my chat today. Hi, guys.
Oh, I can't pronounce your name. Shermantia. Diane, Janie, Mary, Connie, Linda Lee, Lynn, Sylvia. Sylvia is from Germany, by the way. Cindy, Diane, Mary Smith, and a lot of the ladies are people are telling us they can hear us all. There's no echo. Wonderful, wonderful. Diane says, I'm almost in my village here. You all sound great. Hello from California. And then here's a cute one I want to say. Sylvia from Germany says, I think I saw a video from the red-haired lady. The other ones are unknown to me. I'm happy to know you all. Katrina, the red-haired lady. And Susie Berry just stopped in. Hello. All right. So isn't it cool that Saremy has come to this from a completely different route than I would say maybe Katrina and I are more similar. So I'm going to let Trish tell her backstory, and then I'm going to go to Katrina. Just simply because I think it's interesting to see. Okay, honey bun. He doesn't want me to do this. All right, sorry. Okay, I gotta figure out a way.
That in public.
I gotta figure out a way to get my thing off my work table because it's rickety. So I gotta not touch. Sorry. Anyway, so I'm gonna let Trish tell us her backstory, and then we're gonna go to Katrina. But I think it's so cool that I love hearing these stories because they're so different.
It is cool. Thank you, Jen.
Mm-hmm.
So, my name is Tricia. I call myself your pattern nerd friend. I'm obsessed with pattern making. I love it. I think it's awesome. I think it's cool. I think it's fun. And I find that that's really different for a lot of people. So it's my mission to be like, it can be fun and cool and awesome for you too. Everybody can learn. So that is kind of like how I connected with Jen. I took one of her classes at ASG, like she mentioned last year. I was going to the conference because similar to Saremy, this home sewing world and convention sewing world is very new to me. I come from 20 plus years experience as a theatrical costumer. So that is where my background is. Pretty much before I started teaching was the only job I ever had other than working as a coffee barista in high school. So either making costumes for shows or building or working on the shows themselves. We still have my company that makes costumes for big theatrical productions is what I usually say. Some of our clients include Cirque du Soleil, Blue Man Group, Disney. We just are making stuff for Jersey Boys to open again in Las Vegas. So we keep very busy. We're making some stuff for Charlotte Ballet right now. And that's my background. So very used to doing things quickly, having to produce stuff, that has to fit, that has to work, that has to look how the designer wants it to look I've done opera to acrobats to all different things in between. While I lived in Las Vegas for 11 years. While I was in Las Vegas, people would ask me, how can they get better at pattern making? And I'm like, well, I don't know. I took some classes and they were asking me to teach. because they wanted to advance their skills, and there wasn't a lot available in Las Vegas. So I said, okay, I'll try it out. Came up with a couple of classes, actually ended up connecting with the school district in Las Vegas in Clark County, and teaching all of the high school teachers, fashion ed and home education teachers, pattern making, and as well as industry professionals. And so all of that happened for a few years, and then I moved. Now I live in North Carolina, blissfully in the
I'm
middle
not
of the
touching
woods.
anything.
But not as conducive
I'm
to
not touching.
classes, and people kept asking. So I was like,
You wanna
okay,
come
I'll
say
check
hi?
out trying to put it online. And that started, 2019 really. And then 2020, I was like, this is going to be my year. I'm going to launch it to everyone. And still figuring out how to do that with my other costume business, traveling and opening tours and stuff like that. And then, you know what happened in 2020? My business, live entertainment, ceased to exist, and my business overnight disappeared. So I was like, okay, well, good thing I'm doing this teaching thing. Let's see what happens in that arena. And dove headfirst into that and fell in love with, it wasn't just focused on theater professionals, which is what I thought I would be marketing to. It was more like the home sewing, the fashion bloggers. People could benefit from my knowledge. And I come at it, because of my background, from a completely different way than fashion is usually taught. And it's also different from making all these adjustments, as I know you've talked about, Saremy, like the round back adjustment, low, but all of those were completely new to me. I was like, I don't know what these are.
Yeah.
I need to go and look up. So, I have a different way that I see things. I'm all about, like, let's do it. Let's get to the fun stuff, and let's have fun with it right away. So, that's kind of my background. And I am new to YouTube as of last year. I'm building up my channel. If you guys like my vibe, please go give me a follow. I'd love that. I hang out most of the time on Instagram, is where my playground usually is. So if you're not already following me there, Creative Costume Academy over there as well. And yeah, I'm excited to teach at Sew Expo. Part of me wanting to go to these conferences and stuff is my big goal. And I shared this with Jen, and we instantly became friends, because we're like, you're a pattern nerd too. I love it. Is I would like to create a pattern convention, pattern specific convention. So, got to do some research and feel out how the rest of all of that goes together. And I'm very excited to be teaching at Sew Expo. It kind of was something I was going to go and just check out as a participant, and worked out that they needed some classes, and I was like, yeah, let's do it. I can teach some classes. So I'm very excited to be teaching classes at Sew Expo, and I did get to take Katrina's class. You were all over the place at ASG. You were like in the fashion show, and then I went directly, I think, after that into your class about beautiful necklines. So we didn't really get to chat, but I do remember. And then so in case you guys didn't know, you've probably seen her in Threads magazine. She's got a book, that's why we said she's our celebrity surprise guest.
Okay, let me just so Sasha Soest is here, and she says such a great event, all of my favorite people. We love you too, Sasha. Sasha's a big help in my Facebook group. She will come on and give fitting advice, and I never have to worry when she does, because it's always on point. So I always appreciate having knowledgeable people in my group. And then my husband did tell me to keep my elbows off the table. I was laughing because he came up here to tell me, and then other people Sylvia stuck up for me and said, she's not touching anything. So I'm trying to really not jerk my table around. Anyway, and Manita is very interested in pattern making. So that's very cool. And Judy's here. Hey, Judy. All right. So now we're going to give Katrina the stage, and she is going to tell us about herself. And she has a very cool background, and she lives on a real deal ranch, a ranch
Awesome.
with sheep and all of this stuff, and she is amazing, and I'm going to let her talk now.
In Washington? Are you living in Washington?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So hello everyone. I'm Katrina Walker, and I know some of you. So, but yeah, like Tricia said though, sometimes it's like there's one of you and there's like 30 of you in a room, and so believe me, I totally you're in my heart. The best part of what I do is getting me all of you, because you're all people I would want to be friends with anyway, right? So it's like, so it doesn't matter what side of the teaching table I'm on, it's like we're all part of the same family, which I appreciate. So I have to embarrass Jen and tell you how we met. Because Jen and I, of course, have been running past each other at shows for decades, and or at least well over a decade. And there'd be times like I'd say hi, but you're so exhausted at a show, you don't even sometimes realize when someone talks to you. And so like the first time I said hi to Jen, it was just like totally like, RBF. Like
I know, I'm so embarrassed.
Well, we're both, and I just thought we're both so tired. I just was like, okay. But I made it a mission, because I'm just kind of weird like this. I'm a really determined person. I'm a Capricorn. We can't help ourselves. And so I just made it a mission. I'm like, I am going to get to know Jen Stern, and we are going to be friends, or else I'm just going to decide she's a complete RBF and I'll write her off.
No.
It's like one or the other. So, but I assumed that we would be friends. So basically, then finally we were at a Craftsy. I think it was at Craftsy.
Yep.
Anyway, we were at some kind of industry thing together.
Instructor
I think it was
summit.
A Craftsy teacher thingy.
Yep.
Yeah, the summit, whatever they called that thing. Any rate, and so it's basically like, hi, we're going to be friends. And we've been good buddies ever since. And we room at shows and things. And of course, I adore Jen. Like everybody adores Jen. And so anyway, so I just had to tell you that to embarrass her. But
do you have those?
But just to say,
do you have those little those little business cards? She has these little business.
I ran out of them.
It was her beautiful picture on the front. On the back, it says something cool about you, like you're wonderful.
I have one on my wall.
Yeah.
It says, "Thank you for existing."
Yeah, thank you for existing. And I just thought, yes, this is my kind of person. And I feel horrible that I glazed over the first time you wanted to talk to me, but
no, but we're all just so tight. Sometimes we're just, so I just beg for all of you, we all love you very dearly, and just bear with us sometimes, because I know like during Sew Expo, I'm scheduled on Thursday to basically be in a classroom from 7:30 in the morning, which is the first time they'll actually let me in, until 5 o'clock at night. And I have no breaks, none during that entire time. So please understand if you see me at the end of the day on Thursday. I'll do my best to be smiling, but please, my feet hurt and I'm exhausted. But anyhow, so I'll try to make it quick, because it's really kind of a long story, but I will do my best to condense. So been, like many of you, been sewing my whole life, and I'm 5'10", so trying to find clothes that fit. That's why fit and pattern making very, very near to dear my heart. So that's why I'm great to get to know Tricia and Saremy better, because we are all nerds together. Because if you don't know how to change the pattern to fit you, because there's nothing wrong with you, but the pattern needs to be fixed. And and that's just normal. I mean, they have to make a pattern just in some random shape, and we all have to fix it. That's just the bottom line. Just get over it. That's how it is. So, but there's no point in sewing if it's not going to be something that actually fits you and you're going to love it. So that is definitely also my mission in life. But so anyways, been sewing my whole life. Then I actually found myself, I went to one of those really snobby schools and found myself in investment banking. And of course, had to make my own cocktail dresses and suits and things, because, number one, I needed it for the stress relief. That was actually the most important. But number two, I just needed clothes. And, good luck finding things off the rack when you're 5'10". And so anyway, I realized I liked sewing a lot more than I liked investment banking. So then I left the East Coast, went back to Washington State, ran a 4-H program for a few years, taught high school home ec, and then I was working on my master's in clothing and textiles during this time. Well, then I lost my teaching job because of a levy. A levy didn't pass, and that's how they pay for a lot of teaching jobs in Washington. Anyway, so I said, heck with this. I'm tired of being poor. So I went to work in the fashion industry. And so I worked for Nordstrom Product Group in product development in Nordstrom. But I kind of, I'm one of those people that kind of sneaks in through the back door. So I don't technically have a degree in fashion. I don't technically have, but I've always, I did get in my textile science classes and things. So, I always managed to weasel my way in somehow. So, sometimes competency manages to win over certification. So, any rate, so I was working in Nordstrom Product Group, actually in raw materials. So I love textiles are really my secret. My real jam is textiles above everything. But I'm a total textile nerd and fiber nerd. And so, like Saremy. And probably Tricia too. Any rate, so I had already been, when I was running the 4-H program and all that stuff, I had gone through clothing and textile advisor training. That's how I got going with Sew Expo 26 years ago. And so I was already kind of hooked in with that. So I get a call at my desk. Now, mind you, I just won the National Make It with Wool competition with an outfit that I had made from scraps. I know, yay! That was 20 years ago, Jen. 20 years ago. This year.
Wow.
So 20 years ago, I won the adult National Make It with Wool competition. So I just won that. I was going through divorce. I was like 50 pounds lighter. I was so tiny and totally broke. So the whole outfit was made out of scraps. So my national award-winning outfit was made out of scraps because that's all I couldn't afford to buy fabric. So I had to piece it together. But it won, by God. And so, anyway, so I'm sitting at my desk at Nordstrom, and I get a call from Joanne Ross, who ran the Sew Expo she's the one, anyway, for many, many, many years. Katrina, we need a model. I'm like, Joanne, I can't do that. You know, my hips are 39 and a half inches. I can't, even when I'm skinny, it's like, I'm too big to be a model. I know this. She's like, you'll be fine. Get down here. Well, it paid a lot more than my job at Nordstrom. So I couldn't afford not to just take unpaid time off and go down and model for Sew Expo. So I did. And so I modeled for 4 days. And so I modeled for so all the big names in the sewing industry were the people I was modeling for. And I had just won the contest. So I had my outfit because I also had to model in a fashion show at the end of the day promoting the wool contest. So they found out I was the new winner. So I was only faking the model part, but I actually did sew. and so as it turned out, so later that year, so it all happened 20 years ago. So later that year, I ended up meeting my second husband.
Aww.
No, there wasn't any overlap, but yes, it was a very short period of time. So I met my second husband and left Nordstrom and found myself starting down the road to a sewing career. One of the largest sewing machine dealerships is in the Pacific Northwest. And I actually started working for them, doing their kind of roadshow, teaching their Sew Fun classes. So that was a great training because doing that is basically what I do now. So it was a great training going from store to store to store doing lecture demo. And so it really was great training for me. So at any rate, so it's like a kind of a long story, but people like, how did you get into this? It's like, well, it's taken decades. And I was just extremely, extremely blessed in having wonderful mentors. I mean, I'm a trained Palmer Pletch instructor, but, I met Patty Palmer because I modeled for her for 2 years.
Wow.
And, I just have had one of the great things about the sewing industry is that people are genuinely nice. I mean, sure, there's a few rotten apples and we won't mention them, but for the most part, everyone truly is genuinely nice people. And we generally try to support. I mean, Jen and I know we definitely have a pact, sisterhood. We support each other. There's room at the top for all of us. So, we really do believe in supporting another. But anyway, so like I said, it's kind of a long story, but I've worked in the fashion industry. I've taught high school. I've worked with a lot of 4-H kids over the decades. I miss that very much.
How many acres do you have, just out of curiosity?
What's that?
How many acres do you have?
We just have, well, I say just, okay, understand that in Eastern Washington State, a normal size for like a wheat farm like I grew up on, so I grew up on about a 3,000 acre farm. That's actually pretty small. My sister and brother-in-law probably farm closer to 8,000 or 9,000 acres. We have 105, so we have a field. So I have to preface that because to people living in like the Midwest, some places in the Midwest,
I have 22 acres, and I'm like,
that's a lot for where you are.
I grew up in LA, so I'm like, people are always like, how did you end up here?
Yeah.
But that's so cool.
That's a lot for where you are. So
Yeah. I have a half an acre and an in-ground swimming pool.
Yeah, see?
I can mow my own lawn, so that's what I have.
Yep.
Yeah, it takes 4 hours to mow the
don't have a
lawn.
pool.
But anyway, that's the long story.
So this is very cool because what you guys should be thinking right now, let me just see if there's any comments. Oh, Dorothy wants to know what RBF is. When you said I'm going to be RBF.
I asked my
It's
chat.
resting. Resting face.
Oh, what my daughter has. Okay. All right.
Resting face.
I must have that.
under the
Like,
bus.
When they give you the dead-eyed stare.
okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Actually typed it in my
okay,
chat.
so I wanna promise everybody. I was so ramped up to make sure I had the tech for this correct, and I made a nice thumbnail, right? Well, did I put links to everybody's stuff on here? Of course I did not. So I promise you, the minute we get off, I'm going to put Instagram links. I'm going to put YouTube channel links. So you will have all of that available to you because Sylvia wants to follow everybody. And so I'm going to put the links. Connie said, I have taken classes from Jen. Love it. I would love to have classes with everybody else. Follow them and in Tricia's pattern place.
Yes, she's in the pattern place.
Sylvia's going to embarrass me. She says, did you know Stern in German means star in English?
Aw.
And she said, I'm a freaking star. Thank you, Sylvia. That's so
You are a
sweet.
star.
We have Priscilla from Wiltshire, England checking in. Hello, hello. And Sylvia has 500 square meters. She doesn't know how many acres that is, but it's tiny. That is so cool. So those are all the comments. But what I want to just say to everybody watching at this very moment, think about the experience these ladies have and what they would bring to you in a class.
Yes, you included.
Oh, me too. But we're here
Yes.
to talk about you guys today. Once I realized all three of you were going, I was kind of sad and mad at myself for not going as well because I know it's going to be an amazing time.
Okay, before we get into us and talk about Sew Expo, can we explain why you're not going?
Okay, so I'm not going because I wanted to try something different in the spring and I kind of wanted to try it early on, but also not when it's snowing. So the weekend after Sew Expo, I am doing a 3-day pants fitting workshop and it's a come to me workshop. So it's you come to me.
To hang out with Jen for 3 days.
3 days. And the thing
Yes.
about it is I feel like every time I teach these things, I teach them at all of the major sewing events like Sew Expo. Also, I teach 2-day workshops at sewing stores and ASG groups. And even with the 2 days, I feel like it's rushed. So I'm doing 3 days so we can take our time, and I'm keeping the registration to a max of 12 students. There's only 5 spaces left. So if anyone would like to join me, you can head over to I'll put a link to that below as well. I didn't do that either, but, or on my, jsterndesigns.com website, you can find it. Or at my link tree. But the cool thing is, one lucky winner is going to get it for free. I'm going to draw a name out of a hat at dinner on Friday night, and that person will be refunded the $750 that it cost. So if anyone else would like to join me, please, feel free. We're going to have an amazing time. We're going to take our time, and we're really going to learn how to fit pants. So that's me, and I'm super excited. But also I'm super sad now because I want to be with these ladies. So I asked them to bring samples. So if you have samples, get those ready. So this time we'll start with Trish. We'll go up around the other way, and she's going to tell us what she's teaching, and if she has some samples to share, she can do that. And again, I will also put links to Sew Expo in the description below as soon as I get off.
It's sewexpo.com. It's really
Sewexpo.com. You can't screw it up.
Sewexpo.com.
Okay, so
I've been putting links in my chat. I put the first link is to Tricia's YouTube channel, and then the next one is Katrina's website. But if you Google Katrina Walker YouTube, you'll see that she's on YouTube for lots of other people.
I don't really do it for myself. It's mostly just for other people.
Yeah, like Threads Magazine and Sulky.
Yeah.
And then I just linked Jen's website and the specific class in my chat. And someone is taking a couple of your classes, Katrina, one of the folks in my chat named
ooh,
Aisha.
cool beans.
Yeah, she's awesome. All right, so let's see. I think that's all the links I'm going to put in right now. So, Sew Expo, is that what you guys talking about? Okay. All right, Tricia, show us your samples.
So, and I wanted to mention, you got to work with Palmer's and Plush. My big thing that I always feel very blessed. I got to take a class from Helen Joseph Armstrong.
Wow.
That was really cool.
Oh, it was awesome. It was.
She
really,
is
and
the
it was accurate art
queen.
from her book.
She is the queen.
I love her book.
Oh, yep.
Yeah,
Still my
I call
favorite
it my
too.
Bible. It's like
Oh,
always.
yeah, for sure.
But yeah,
Yes.
I learned from her, and it was probably it's close to my favorite class. There's I just learned a lot from that, but I wanted to say that. So yeah, Sew Expo, super exciting. It's going to be fun. So I actually, when I was asked to come up with classes for Sew Expo, they told me they needed serger classes. And then now I'm only teaching one serger class. But the serger class that I'm going to teach is actually a leotard. I'm actually wearing this leotard, so made all completely with the serger. I like to wear them as bodysuits, but I thought coming into this, what could I bring to the table that maybe a lot of other teachers wouldn't have? And from costuming, you know, dance wear, that kind of thing, that's where I kind of leaned more into that. So here's another leotard, and you can kind of cut, you know, it's so hard for me not to change the pattern. So we're going to do like a couple little minor pattern adjustments, but like so here's like one with the print. It's got the long sleeves.
Jen, do you want to spotlight her?
Oh, yes, I do.
Yeah, that'd be
Thank
great.
you. Thank you so much.
With all of the so this is the leotard that you could make. So that's one class. That's all a serger. That's a 2.5-hour class. The next one I'm gonna make is called the tankini class. So it's like a tank top with a bra inside. So you don't have to wear a bra with it. And the patterns for these I'm offering are from like extra small to 6X. So any size. And you'll get to cut your size in class. And this fabric is so yummy. It's like super soft and stretchy. I'm going to have like a mix of different colors and a couple different prints for the leotard class. But this is really handy also for dance. So this is just with our regular machine. So it's got a bra built into it. I also, again, because I can't leave patterns alone, made like more of a straight top, you know, and it has the bra inside. So we're going to learn how to do that. That's my Tankini Triumph class. We're also going to do a briefs class. So how to make briefs, which I made these to fit me. So they don't, obviously they're way too big for her. But, you know, it's super simple pattern. The other thing, sorry, we're going to get naked. The other thing is that a lot of times I see it's suggested to put the elastic in like evenly all the way around. If you've ever seen like riding up in the booty, getting wedgies you don't want in performance, you can't just fix that. So I know a lot about how to do that and how to make adjustments for that. So you're going to learn like how to put that elastic in to help try to combat that. And it's a really simple, fun pattern. Again, extra small to, you know, I think 3X or 6X for the briefs. That's a quick class. So that's brief brilliance. And then we're also going to do an upcycling class because upcycling's fun. And it's a quick class, 1.5-hour class. I'm going to bring lots of different trims and share with you lots of different like upcycles that I've done that are really quick and easy. And then encourage you, I think it's you bring 2 garments that you're like, I don't really feel this anymore, and we're going to play with them and like change them up and change them into different designs. So that's like upcycle and revamp your wardrobe. And then the last class that I'm teaching is a fabric monogrammed bookmark. So it's a great stash busting class, and we're going to do this monogram without any special embroidery. I know it's kind of hard. You're going to get like a metallic thread and you can put your name on. So you don't need a special embroidery machine. We don't need any special settings. I just did it with a zigzag. And it's a really quick, great gift idea, great stash busting. So that's going to be our, what do I call it, DIY monogram bookmark. But you don't have to have any fancy tools or anything like that to make that. So that's what I'm going to be teaching. Come join me at my class. I know a few of my students are here. I do have an online pattern focused mainly. And, you know, I'm not teaching pattern making classes, but I'm going to be given some tips because I just can't not. And, you know, I have about 220 students in my private pattern community. And then I chose Mimi G because I also have I'm the main teacher for Pattern Making Academy, which is Mimi G's school. And so I have some students there. So I teach a lot online and love interacting with people online, but I'm very excited. I haven't taught an in-person class since Las Vegas, so I'm very excited to like hang out with you guys in person, make some fun stuff. So that's
All
what
right.
I'm
So Sylvia wants to know if the tankini pattern is going to be available for purchase. She lives in Germany, so she can't come to Sew Expo. And by the way, Sew Expo, Razzie, is in Puyallup, Washington, not Michigan. There are expos in Michigan, but this is the one in Puyallup in March. We probably should say the dates, right? What are the dates?
So it's February 29th through March 3rd.
Okay.
Is the date. So it's there's classes on Wednesday because both of you guys are teaching on Wednesday as well, right, Katrina and Saremy?
Yeah.
So it's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Okay.
Yeah, just the vendor hall is open Thursday through Sunday.
But I did actually because this was kind of a last minute thing. Like all of these got confirmed like the end of December for me. So
wow.
I did not draft and grade these patterns. I'm using patterns that I found. I forget who it was who reached out, but if they want to reach out to me on any of my channels, DM on Instagram or wherever, I'm happy to share the pattern. I did purchase it digitally online. And I'm going to offer that to people who attend as well.
All right.
We're
Someone
getting
asked in my
printouts, so
chat
we're like
too.
easily cut it out, but
Someone asked in my chat too if your patterns are available, not at Sew
yeah,
Expo.
these are not my patterns.
Okay.
These are patterns that I purchased for. I purchased licenses for the classes because I didn't know.
That's perfectly fine. That's good.
I wanted to
Yeah, that's
offer a
totally
wide
fine.
size range, and
Yeah.
usually I do make my own patterns and I custom do them for people. And I was like, how am I gonna?
Yeah, you didn't have time.
I mean, so I'm just gonna get something that already had all the size ranges. But then that's why I'm like, but I want a lower neckline and I want to make a straight tankini. So you know.
And then also Sandra Martin said that you are amazing, an amazing teacher.
Sandra's a wonderful
So
student.
yay. All right, so I am going to spotlight Katrina now, and she's going to tell us about her classes. Hello, Katrina.
Well, so far, actually, so a lot of my classes, I'm happy to say, are sold out, but not all of them. So that's great. But thank you all for everyone who got in there and signed up. That's always, as a teacher, that's, it's funny. Sew Expo was on hiatus. The state of Washington closed down the day after Expo in 2020. True fact. So it was like after Expo, everything just went boom. Quite literally. And so then we only had it again starting last year. It was finally another live expo, and it was a lot smaller than usual. So thank you. It's been really reassuring to see those numbers coming back up. I know after last year it was like, oh geez, because it's you probably are getting an idea now from Tricia and Saremy and I that it's one thing about our jobs. I mean, I know you all see us come, strolling into our classroom and everything, but you would not believe how much work it is. The weeks and weeks of cutting kits and assembling materials and the prep and anyway, I'll just stop right there before I get going. But it's just, please understand that huge amounts of work go into that 1 or 2 hours you see us in the classroom. It's like weeks before that. But anyhow, so a lot of my classes, so the serger classes I think are all full, except for curves and corners. Now that's a very, very basic class because, but the one thing, serging in a straight line is pretty straightforward, right? I mean, no pun intended, but it's those inner and outer curves and corners that are a little scary for the beginners. And so I think there are still spots. So we're just going to focus on that. We're going to focus on shapes. We're going to focus on learning how to confidently serge in those shapely areas. And so it's definitely geared towards the beginners or the not so confident serger or overlocker. I know only Americans say serger. It's overlockers everywhere else. But anyway, that's going to be the focus. And you're going to learn how to make, now probably won't be the color you want, but you will learn how and have the pattern to make a cute little coaster holder and coaster set. So there's kind of a little project for it. Did I manage to dig it out of my samples? Of course not. But if you've ever seen my book, it's in my Serger 101 book. Then anyhow, that is one serger class that's still available. I believe Sewing with Wool is full. Thank you very much. Oh, I think there's still room in my Sewing with Silk classes. So I'm teaching two versions. So my regular Sewing with Silk class, I've taught to easily over 1,000 people in person. I'm not sure how many I've taught it to online at this point, but but I've taught it to over 1,000 people, and it really is focused on understanding silk as a textile and all the different kinds and how to handle it. I was really lucky that I started sewing silks and wools right out of college, and no one told me I should be afraid of them. And so, I've been sewing for years before anyone told me, oh gosh, that's scary. I'm like, really? Could have fooled me. I've been doing it for years. So, ignorance is bliss. It truly is. And so I never learned to be afraid of these things. And so I share with you all the ways that I make sewing silk, frankly, very easy. And then everyone thinks you're a genius, but you're not. You're just using good tools. And so anyway, so my introductory sewing with silk, I think there's still some spaces left. There's a few more spaces left in my more sewing with silk. So, now that I've taught it to you, I mean, like I said, well over 1,000 people, if you count online and in person, there has to be a sequel, right? So I am teaching the sequel, which includes another even faster way to hem chiffon. So one of the things you do in sewing with silk is you learn how to hem chiffon. And so how to do a beautiful, easy, but professional looking chiffon hem, because that's a personal Everest for a lot of people. And so anyway, so more sewing with silk. So it's just more specialty seaming techniques, more ways. And there's a little bit more of an emphasis on working with shears on the like your organzas and things in the more sewing with silk. So I know that there's some space in that, and I'm just trying to think. So I have 8 hands-on classes. So like I said, I'll be running from classroom to classroom, so please bear with me. I'm Sew Knits with Confidence. I think there's still some space in Sew Knits with Confidence. So again, and that's a non-serger class, actually. So if you don't have a serger overlocker, or you just want to have more experience or confidence working with knits on a regular sewing machine, again, we're going to be focused on understanding how to tame them, understanding what stitches on your sewing machine are appropriate, how different fabrics, what needles. Needles are really important when it comes to sewing with knit fabrics. Again, other tools. I'm going to teach you how to even hem like the most stretchy, nasty eyelet knits, all the nasty stuff. So anyway, it's a confidence. I like classes that take a really scary subject and have you walk out the door, saying, yes, I can do this. This is actually really easy. So that's my, I think my gift is to do that fear factor stuff. And so that's what we're doing.
I love that.
I just want to say,
so it's mostly just technique classes, not a lot of, I tend to like to teach techniques more than projects because I don't like being told what to do. I don't like being told what to make. So I like to teach techniques. It's like, here you go. Now go make all these things, whatever you want. So that's more kind of my thing.
All right. So Mary Flynn loves your wallpaper, and she agrees with you. She said, ignorance is bliss. That's my motto when I sew.
Yeah.
And
just do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Calcedona Sewing says, Katrina, I love when you talk about textiles. I know you just from Craftsy and all of your classes. They are so inspiring. You are such a great teacher. And then Mary also says, my mother used to hem chiffon gowns by hand back in the 70s. She was a seamstress for a major department store in New Orleans.
Oh,
wow. That's
So
amazing.
I want to take Katrina's. I want to
My
take.
complete respect and admiration.
I want to take Katrina's class to make a professional hem on chiffon.
I want to take all your classes. That's the problem when you teach is that all your friends are teaching all this awesome stuff and you never get to take any of it.
It is fun to breeze by. Like when I was at Houston, I breezed by and I saw Katrina through the window of the door, so I busted right in and said hello.
And it's like
So, all right. See, so that's really exciting. I know Katrina told me before we came on that, her classes, most of them were sold out, but so that, if you're listening to any of these class ideas from Saremy or Trish or some of the spaces left to Katrina, don't wait, right? Because we're broadcasting across the whole YouTube dumb here. So you want to make sure you get a spot if you want one. All right, I'm gonna.
Well, and just to, just like for Tricia, just sorry to interrupt,
No,
Jen,
no.
but also remember that all three of us, as far as I know, or all four of us, we all teach online as well.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of classes coming up for Fabric Mart. If you go to is it fabricmartfabrics.com?
Yep.
Anyway,
Fabric Mart Fabrics.
for
Yep.
Fabric Mart, I'm going to be teaching an in-person knit retreat for Style Maker Fabrics
Oh,
this
Oh,
cool.
spring.
neat.
Yes, on sewing knits. I'm so excited. But we're not going to be doing so again, different take from Tricia. That's a great thing. We all kind of do different things. So actually we're going to be doing a little blazer. We're going to be doing a little
Cool.
blazer, fitting and sewing it with knits.
Oh, awesome.
I'm more of a tailored girl. I don't usually do the sportswear thing. So, or that kind of stuff. So, I'm kind of more fussy. So, we're going to do an awesome little blazer. And I don't have my own pattern line because so many of my friends have
Yeah.
patterns and I really enjoy using their patterns and promoting them while I'm doing my thing. So anyway, so for all of you, for me, it's good to, granted, I haven't sent one out for a little while, but my newsletter is a good way to go. Like if you go to my website,
Yeah.
katrinawalker.com,
Mm-hmm.
I've got to get my website updated with all these new classes that are coming out in the next few months. And so, I'll be sending one out, I swear shortly with a list of all the classes that are coming out. So, anyway, so
What what
I will be quiet now because we need to hear Saremy.
what Katrina said? What Katrina said. I have to do the same thing. But definitely check out Fabric Mart because she is teaching a bunch. And actually, tomorrow I am teaching yoga pants, leggings, or tights. There are still a few spots available. The PDF pattern comes with the class. So if anyone's interested in that, head over to Fabric Mart Fabrics. And we're going to be sewing from 1 to 5 Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. Yay. All right, let's move over to Miss Saremy.
Is Katrina your class at Style Maker? Isn't that the place that has the little like retreat place people
Yeah,
can book? Oh, that's
they have a cool
awesome.
makerspace. Yeah, I was pretty
Yeah,
stoked to be asked. Yeah,
that thing looks really cool, and I love their fabrics. They have a good knit selection. Okay,
they
so
have a fantastic selection.
since I'm new to teaching in person, I thought I'd stick with something I'm super, super comfortable with. And so a few of the bag designs I had as chicken boots, I turned into home sewing patterns. And so two of them are already like release patterns that I'm going to be teaching, and then one of them isn't. It will be next month probably because now I'm doing all the work for it. I'm only doing one garment specific class, and that's the only thing I don't have samples for. And I think that's the one that's filling up the most because people mostly in this home sewing world know me for like as far as like YouTube, they know me for garment sewing, even though I'd had this like 12-year business doing bags. But that class that's garment specific is seam finishes. And so we're going to do seam finishes that are in specific locations good for garments. So Hong Kong finish, French seam, flat felled, um, binding. I think I added one that's not on the thing, and it'll be like specific locations like the fly, the inner waistband, French seaming a set-in sleeve, things like that. And it'll be great. You're going to be like, oh, isn't that bad. So it makes the insides look so good. So that's one class. And then my other classes, this was the double double. So this is a draw handle top with webbing. And then it has a pocket that you access the pocket from the inside of the bag, but then you can see it, and it's a clear bag. So people like to learn how to use vinyl and stuff, and there's binding. So binding, vinyl, the draw cord. It's not a very like complicated bag, but you do a lot of things in a very short amount of time, which is great. And I have lots of fabrics. And then my big class, the Wednesday class, is this project bag. And so this was very knitting specific. So it has the divider inside, which is vinyl, by the way, and which also is a pocket right here. It has an end pocket that's elastic, a document pattern pocket. It has stiffener, binding. It's fully finished inside and out. Stands up, and the straps will fit over your shoulder, and that's going to come in a bunch of fabrics. And then so you'll walk away with one of those.
I need one of those.
And you'll walk away with one of the double doubles. And then my last one here is on my desktop. So let me change my camera. And I have a lot of cameras. Which one is it? It's this one here, right? Whoops, what did I just do?
That's your logo.
You look really cute.
I
It's
know.
adorable.
Your logo.
Wait, why can't I switch to my machine?
I was thinking she was really brave to try to do that live streaming because every time I try to touch something, I screw it up.
That's weird. I did it worked earlier. Oh, maybe because I guess maybe because I have Streamlabs open, it's not going to let me switch.
Oh.
Sorry. All right, so the last one I have is a Notions case. It has a clear front. Sorry, it's so bright. And then it also has stiffener, a zipper at the top, right? And I'm bringing the vinyl. If you know me from Chicken Boots, I am bringing that vinyl, the good stuff, the one thing people have badgered me about for years. But there's going to be, you get to make 3 of these in the class, and you get to work with stiffener binding. I really love binding. It's one of my strong skills, and I just I've done literally sewn miles of binding. So I'm going to give you really good techniques on how to make it look good on the right side, and it's not scary at all. It's just straight seams. That's it. So those are my 4 classes, and I know that there's people registering for them. I have not asked for my count lately. I thought I'd give it a few more days and then ask. But I am bringing kits for everybody, so I hope that they fill up somewhat because, yes, it's a lot of things to prepare.
It's a lot of work to make those kits, everybody.
I also designed a sew-in label that you're going to get for your things to use in the class.
Cool.
And I think that's it.
That is very cool. Britann Cummings says, I'm so excited to see each of you at Puyallup.
Nice.
Tina said, the pattern place is amazing. Razzie says, I was sewing a great coat by myself, teaching myself all kinds of things. And Mary said, I spend so much time watching all of you awesome people on YouTube, I don't have time to sew.
You should sew with us while we're
I know. And Sylvia's not letting go on that tankini pattern, Trish. She really wants to.
Yeah, reach out to me. I'm happy to share. I bought both the leotard and the tankini. The briefs are a mood pattern. Mood. You could go to, what is it? The Society, Mood Society. That's a free pattern that you can download. I'm happy to share them. I told them when I bought the licenses, I was like, I'm teaching a class. I don't want to just buy one and rip you off. I was like, I want to promote you. I found them both on Etsy. They are, because I didn't even realize this after I bought them, they are both slopers. So technically they don't have seam allowance. It's like, I'm so used to working in that world. I'll explain what all of that is. Like, if you take any of my classes, you're going to get some pattern knowledge as well, because that's just how I'm wired. But but yeah, I'm happy to share. I'm happy to share about the patterns. And you do get a printout in the class, and you can get the digital copy as well. So whatever class, if you take my classes, you cut out whatever size just so we can get it cut out and get to the fun sewing part. But you will be able to also download the digital copy to make it in any other size that you want as well.
That's smart. That's smart.
Mine are the same. They're going to come with the pattern, but I'm not bringing them for you. They won't be pre-printed, but you get a digital link. And I've pre-cut all the kits, so we won't have to.
Oh my goodness, you are amazing, Saremy.
Well, it's just so many pieces, like stiffener, vinyl, outer.
Cutting all that stuff
binding.
out.
Yeah. So
that'll make the class really enjoyable because you're not.
And no one's allowed to fight over prints. Katrina already warned me that you guys can be animals.
I didn't get that memo until
animals. Kindergartners.
Okay, so
worse.
We all have different personalities. I'm like Pollyanna. I only swear in the bathroom by myself. Then we have Saremy. Saremy will say whatever she's thinking in a good way.
That's great.
She does. And I love it when because
I
I know when she comments something, I know she means it. So she's genuine. And no, it's not a bad thing, Saremy. Smile on that face. I mean, she literally will tell you what she thinks and I really appreciate that. So I just, and then Katrina is, I think, a little more reserved. And I haven't figured out I'm bouncing my thing. I haven't figured out what Tricia's style is yet, but I'm gonna figure that out. But I just think
my style of personality.
Yeah, like if someone says, like, if I get a really curious comment, I go out of my way to answer it in the nicest possible way, even though I might want to say, a string of, punctuation. So, but it's just everyone, handles different things differently. But I just love, I don't know, I love these ladies and they all have different styles, which then also brings me to the point that, we all do similar things, not exactly the same thing. Some of us do different things. I don't sew with wool. I do, but I don't teach it. I don't teach how to sew with textiles like Katrina. I draft patterns all day long, but I don't teach it per se. I mean, sometimes I'll do a draft along, and then Saremy does.
Talk about this the other day. You do talk about fitting, and those of you, if you're new to pattern making, fitting is basically
It is.
So
but it never occurred to me actually to teach pattern drafting like a thing. I did a bodice draft along, whatever, but and then if anybody wants a nice, relaxing, informative thing, get into Saremy's live streams because she does a lot of sew alongs. And like when I do a sew along, sometimes I never finish the thing, right? Saremy finishes everything she starts, and she is very calm and she talks about all the steps. And if you really want to learn how to do things, and the cool thing about the thing she's sewing is she's picking popular patterns from other companies. So if you have a pattern from whatever company and you see that she has a sew along for it, definitely check that out because you will not have to worry about how to make it because she has all that down. Like I'll put Saremy on and listen to her while I'm working on something else because she's just so pleasant to listen to. So definitely, we all attract different personalities and we all are different personalities. But my point is we can bring something different to the table. All of us do. So it's valuable to, learn from everybody. That's why I'm in this, let's help each other and let's promote each other and let's, whatever, because I don't know. I just think.
And I just want to mention, I don't think Jen, you know her, Jennifer, you know her, but my friend Aronica Cole, Aronica B. Cole is also teaching at Sew Expo. I'm actually staying with her, and she's kind of the one who was like, "Oh, you need teachers? Check out my friend Trish." So I want to give a shout out to her. She's teaching on projector sewing, and she's like sewing for business. She's a business coach as well. So if you are going to Sew Expo and you still have room for different classes, like check out Aronica Cole, and she's also here on YouTube and Instagram as well, Needle in the Bell. So she's
I'll find her. I'll put her link on there too.
Is more her
Yep.
kind of niche and projector sewing, but she has a lot of great classes too.
One thing that's amazing about sewing is that you're never going to be done learning anything about sewing. Like I've been doing this since I was like 14 years old or maybe 12 years old, right? And I did go to design school and I worked in the fashion industry and I worked in the outerwear industry. And then I had a bag making business, and everywhere along the line, I had tons to learn and consume. And in the home sewing world was so different. Like I had sewn for myself at home, right? It wasn't that. But the other thing is that the internet has changed the landscape of just the garment world in general drastically, because I started in a world where it didn't exist and here we are, and like it just in the time when I had my bag business at the beginning, I don't even think Instagram existed, and then by the end of it, we were all realizing like, oh, hey, maybe we could promote our businesses on Instagram. And now you wouldn't even think of social media being without business promotion, right? It's all crammed down your throats constantly. And so like YouTube was a baby. And I remember at the time people were like, Saremy, you should do that YouTube thing. And I was just like, oh, there weren't webcams. There weren't like the kind of things right now which make it easier. It's hard, but it's still like a lot easier than it was a long time ago. We were using like DSLR cameras and camcorders and things like that and stuff. And so I think like the one thing I love is how much there is to learn. Like I'll do anything. I'll literally do anything that's put in front of me, even if I don't know how to do it. I've probably tried it or I probably have an idea, but it doesn't mean I'm an expert at it. And it's great because you can go to someone like Katrina and learn like the subtle nuances of these things. And you think, oh, I know enough. And then you do it and you're like, I did not know anything.
Right.
I did not know enough at all.
Yeah.
This is
All right.
amazing,
So,
and you go
okay,
to
wait.
Tricia.
I want to
Oh,
let me
oh yeah.
interrupt you for 1 second because I'm in the most amazing company. When I said I turn you on and listen to you when I'm working in my studio, so does Handmade PhD. I love her.
Oh, I love
She
her
said,
too.
"Guilty the same. Listen to Saremy so longs as I'm working in my sewing room," and then. Amy Sheridan said that you have an amazing online community. Just tell us a little bit about your community. I know you made some changes to it.
I
Maybe you want to
did.
just tell people what that's about quickly.
Well, instead of doing like I had the Patreon thing, that people do, and then I decided to go a different route after about a year of that. And so I launched an online community and it's free to join. It's sosoguild.com. There are two paid tiers in there, but it's a free community and it's just the most pleasant space. It's really the only place I spend time as far as like social media goes because it's very low key. And it's a beautiful space, and there's lots of inspiring people in there. There's even a little live chat feed where you can just pop in and go, "Hey, how are you guys doing? I just made this mistake. I need some sympathy." And so and that's been really interesting because I'm very hands off with my community. I also don't allow like business promotion in there. I don't really do anything like that. Like I'll link my live streams and I'll let people know I'm doing things. That's about the only promoting I do. I don't cram it down their throats. So it's a very non-advertising space. There's no data mining either. And so I love that I'm pretty hands off. And so I love that they kind of drive the community. It's like sewist driven. And like someone will say, "Hey, Saremy, what do you think about adding a coat making group?" And I'm willing to like host it. And I'll create a group and they'll host a coat making so you can just go in there and talk all you want about coats and you're not like spamming the rest of the guild with this little thing you're really into, or lingerie or quilt making. Or there's even a book reading group that if even sewing is mentioned at all in it, that counts as the book you get to read. So it's really cool. You're all
Huh.
welcome.
Well,
Don't feel like I
Sil-
wouldn't if I were you.
Sylvia agrees with you. She said that at least once a week, her mind is blown from all the information she gets on social media, and she loves her job because it keeps her mind really awake. She's an accountant, so she has to stay up late. Oh, has she? No, I'm sorry. She has to be up to date. And Sasha Soa says sewing is a learning journey, and that's what I love most about it. That is so true.
Yeah.
Now, I just want to give Trish just a minute to talk about her pattern group, and she does a really cool thing where she lets you do a week of boot camp where you get to try it out first. So let me just let her talk about that quick, and then I'm going to let Katrina have the last word, and then we're going to sign off. And so I can put all the links to all these things on before I do anything else. So I apologize for that. But anyway.
Before I talk about that, I just want to say I was like anti social media until 2020, until 2019, because I was like, and people used to tell me all the time, like, "Oh, you should be on social media." I'm like, I don't have time. I don't have time to be on social media. I don't need any more work. I'm busy enough. And it wasn't until I was like, I know people want to learn about pattern making. How do I reach them? And it was like, then I started learning, and I just fell in love with connecting with everybody from all over the world. We've had Switzerland, England, Germany in here just today, and being able to bring everyone together for this love,
Yes.
for the love of sewing and for the love of pattern making. That's what I really love about it. I have a good friend who lives in Istanbul, Turkey. I touch base with her every day. It's so that is really cool that we can come together in this way and learn more from each other. But
And she has
yeah.
the most amazing Instagram stories.
Yeah.
Check Trish's Instagram stories because I'm blown away by all the stuff she puts on there, and it's all cool. She's not just slapping stuff on a wall. Very cool stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
I do hang out on Instagram is where I hang out the most. And I love chatting with people in the DMs. If you want to just come and say hi or talk about whatever, like that's where I hang out. But yeah, I have actually 2 memberships. So technically I have 3 businesses that I run consistently. So, I like to keep things fun.
Yeah.
But I have the online membership that is available all the time, which I mentioned with Mimi G, her pattern making academy. I'm the lead instructor, so I teach all the classes there. I'm the main person there. You can sign up today. It's start at your own pace, cancel at any time. That's at learnpatternmaking.com. And then I have my private community, which is a little bit more hands-on. That is the pattern place. That is a couple of my Sew stars have jumped in here, and that is only open 2 times out of the year so that we keep it very intimate. We do a lot of fitting focused on whatever you are making. We start with like learning the foundations. It's very pattern focused, but you can't talk pattern making without sewing. So it kind of goes hand in hand. It's just a place for people who want to really challenge themselves and expand more on learning about fit, learning about making their own patterns, designing. So there's a lot of resources. We do a live event once a month where I answer Q&A style. You can ask me anything about anything. Like I say, have access to my brain and let's figure out your your pattern puzzle. And I really enjoy it because I like to see what everybody's making. We have an accountability program that we do once a quarter. Like, what's your goal by the end of the quarter? And then we check in and hold each other, give goals and stuff like that. So it's really fun. And then every month we have a master class that's taught live, and then it's added to our full resource library. So if you're ever working on anything, usually you can find at least 1 or 2 classes that already exist in there, and then you can dive into our Facebook group. And actually, Jennifer Stern will be teaching us a efficient pant fitting masterclass for March. So I'm super excited about that. I may need to talk to Katrina about teaching a textiles class if that's her thing. And maybe we'll find something for Saremy too. But every month we have a new class. It's not always taught by me. I bring in other people just so that we can mix it up and learn from different people doing different things. That's all added to the library. So we have tons of stuff. We've had about 2 years worth of content in the library. And so it's just a really great community though, because and again, with fitting is such a hard thing to teach because everybody's body is different. So this gives a really great opportunity to like learn what you're looking for, training your eye, and like what adjustments you need to be looking and getting one-on-one support in that way. So leading up to that, to celebrate that, since we only open twice a year, I do a full free 5-day fitting boot camp. So it's 100% free, and it's all focused on fitting and making it easy. I'm all about keeping things easy and like, let's just learn how to do it right away. So that'll be coming up right after Sew Expo, actually the end of March. So if you guys are interested in learning about fitting and pattern making, definitely. I do have a newsletter. I'm pretty good about my newsletter. I got to write one today, actually, to go out on Monday. And I always give a freebie every month. So this month it's going to be a measurement sheet. So like if you take measurements for clients, certain measurements that you need with like how to take those measurements, that'll be the freebie. Sometimes it's a PDF pattern. Sometimes it's a class, like a boot camp. But we always do a freebie, and that's the best way to know all the crazy stuff that's going on, and even insight on some of the projects that I'm working on with costumes and stuff like that too, when I'm allowed to share. Disney doesn't allow me to share, but other stuff.
Someone asked in my chat, Tricia, if you do anything with patterns and fitting for men.
Yes, I mean that's the thing is it's we start with women because these are hard to to fit, but yes, we actually have a couple of male students, and I love doing like tailoring and stuff like that. So yeah, we have a tailoring class that that is part of our library, and we have male so if you join, so I know one main thing, I'll just say this one thing. So if you join either of my memberships, so either the Pattern Place when it's open, or if you want to sign up for Pattern Making Academy, the one with Mimi G, both of those, we don't start by drafting a sloper. I feel like that is such a hard place to start. So when you sign up for either one of my memberships, you get all of my slopers included for free. So that is about a $200 resource, and that comes with 15 different sizes for both male and female.
Wow.
And that's the bodice, the skirt, the pant, and the sleeve for all of those sizes. So I'm like, let's skip that part and get to the good fun stuff.
We were we were talking about that. We had Tricia and I were on Instagram on what was Thursday? Wednesday. And she was telling us about how she doesn't make you make a sloper first. And I think there is some value to that, because let's get to the fun stuff. Yeah.
I don't want you to get frustrated and
scratch.
upset about learning pattern making before we get to the really cool part that makes it really fun and easy. So like, let's skip that. Here, have this. Let's
You
jump
don't have
ahead
to
and
draft
learn
that
about
from
fitting,
scratch.
learn about
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. Did you see Cashmerette released a sloper as their club pattern this month?
No.
So, and Cashmerette focuses on busty and curvy women. So,
And Casrat, Jenny has taught in the pattern place as well. She taught for
exactly.
And
Yeah, exactly.
Sandra Martin said that Fitabulous Fit Boot Camp changed my life. Trish teaches so much in that free week. And Charmanta, and I apologize if I'm slaughtering your name every time I say it, but she loves it and she can't wait to find out more. So, yay! All right, we're doing Katrina. I want to say best for last, but I can't say that because you guys are all the best. So let's talk. Let's let Katrina tell us whatever she wants to tell us to wrap up this fabulous Fab Fit Friday. I think this is going to be one of my favorite Fab Fit Fridays because I got to hang out with 3 of my favorite people, and I got to share them with all of you. So take it away, Katrina.
Well, I mean, I'm definitely the biggest loser when it comes to the whole social media thing. I mean, I have somebody who helps me because it's not that I don't know how to do it. I just won't do it. And so one of the reasons I work for a lot of different people is so that they'll do it for me. So please, I beg your forgiveness. But I'm a fast typist. So if you want to get a hold of me, direct messaging is the best because it's most likely to get to my attention. Feel free to email me through my website or what have you, or, through the chat on my website, all that kind of stuff. It's definitely the best way to get in touch with me. And it's just, I plead your forgiveness. It's not my forte.
No.
I get pretty overwhelmed between the ranch and my job and my other jobs. I also have a yarn company, Spoiled Cheap Yarns. So that's what we were comparing. All of us do a lot of different things, but I totally agree with my colleagues that, fit, which like creating a personal sloper. I mean, that's basically a fit class, or you're drafting it. Drafting's a whole different. That's another way to approach it. But then pattern making, I couldn't agree more because I teach it the same way in the sense that you get your practice little slopers and we just get to the good stuff because it's like having a sloper that fits you. That's one thing. Learning pattern making and how to do all the design stuff. That's a different skill. So it's like. They're related, but they're like cousins or siblings. Yeah. They're not, the same thing. So I just, as I'm talking, I'm just like to myself, just like nodding. It's like, yep. And there's a big difference between, one thing that, I know when I started teaching fit, I thought, I've been trained by Patty Palmer and I've been teaching it for years, but it's like, I was at first a little insecure because it's like, well, I didn't go to fashion school and everything, but I learned that learning to actually adjust on real mature bodies and not just studying theory on a dress form, they're 2 totally different things.
Totally different.
So, you're in good hands, obviously, with any of the people here, and I think what's really important about, this group is that they genuinely care about their students' outcomes. I think it's very meaningful to all of us, for you, who cares about us? For you to be happy with what you're making and to be empowered. I know that's one of those buzzwords, but truly empowered to create what you want to create and be happy with it. So it's been a pleasure, Jen. I really don't have anything important to say. It's just been a pleasure.
How about your classes that are coming up? Besides,
yeah. See how terrible I am at self-promotion. It's like, take my classes.
It's hard to toot your own horn. I have a hard time with it too, but I want you to toot it right now. Toot.
Okay, I will toot. And I'll, in the most polite way. But yeah, so actually my upcoming classes are actually Darted Fit. It's a 4-hour intensive. an intensive 4-hour class. That's for Fabric Mart. Of course, it's recorded. You can access it. Anyone who's taken a class from me tells me that, they may say a month or whatever, but, I'm really slow. I'm not in any hurry to take my classes down. So it's very intensive learning. One of the important things, the way I've been trained to teach fit, because we're all going to approach it a little bit differently. And that's good because everyone's brain is different, everyone's body's different. And the way I explain it versus one of my colleagues, we may say the same thing, but say it in a different way. And it's going to make better sense to each of you.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's not really a competition. It's like, it sometimes helps to have different approaches to get to the same thing. But at any rate, so I have Darted Fit coming up in February. I want to say is it next weekend? No, I think it's on the 16th. Any rate, so and then the weekend after that is Princess. And I recommend, so again, I'm teaching Palmer Pletch method. And so learning to alter Princess isn't just about adjusting the seams. There's more to it than that, than adjusting seam allowances. So it's really helpful if you take Darted Fit first and understand how dart manipulation works, and then we'll go into Princess. So anyway, that's coming from my world, the way, I've been trained and the way I've practiced it. And then I have a fit and sew class coming up. We're going to do my friend Dana Bontrager, another awesome woman in the sewing world. Dana Marie Patterns. We're going to do her new Up a Notch jacket. And so if you've taken a fit and sew class from me, you know that we take a pattern, and I do miniature patterns, and you learn how to do all your different fit adjustments for that pattern and your practice patterns. And then, of course, we have live office hours, so I can work with you to obviously make sure it fits in person after you've practiced what you need to do on your little miniatures, your half scales. But at any rate, but it's also going to be an art to wear class. So there's going to be another session, an additional session in the middle there. And I'm trying to talk Julie at Fabric Mart into offering it as a separate class if people just want to take that piece. But we're going to learn all different kinds of art to wear techniques to make your jacket truly unique to you. And then, of course, at the end of the class, it's construction time. And we're going to break it down in a couple of days. And we're going to go ahead and put the jacket together. So anyway, so that's another new class coming up, because sometimes I have a lot of repeats. But that's just a few things. Like I said, I've got the retreat in April coming up with Style Maker Fabrics, where we're doing knits. We're focusing on knits for 3 days. Honestly, it's been so busy with Expo and all the other things going on this spring that I wanted to put more things on my personal teaching calendar, and I realized it was full. So now I'm like already looking at June, and it's like, okay, because I know that I have to be careful not to overextend myself. That's something I'm prone to do. But I'm sure all of us, for any of us, if there's anything particular that you really want to learn, I think for all of us, don't be afraid to ask, because the hardest thing about teaching is figuring out what you all want to learn. That's, and it's like sometimes I'll put out a survey and everyone will say they want this one thing, and then you offer it and then nobody's interested. So please let us know.
So true.
So all right, so there you go, Jen. I kind of promoted myself, so.
Excellent.
Okay, but Jen, you have to promote your pant class.
I did already. I did.
Right, that's
just remember,
reminder.
Jen.
So, all right. So I'm very excited about this pants class, and I am overjoyed. I have 7 people signed up already, and I'm overjoyed with that. So obviously there's room for 12. So if anybody else would like to join me, it's going to be a really fun time. We're going to spend quality time together at the Hampton Inn in Manchester, Connecticut. It's 20 minutes from the airport if you have to fly in. And honestly, I was so surprised that 2 people from the West Coast signed up. So people are flying across the country to me, which just warmed my heart. And the rest of the ladies are coming. No one from Connecticut. So people are driving here. We're going to have a wonderful time. I'm going to feed you lunch and snacks and goodies all day. You're on your own for dinner, but we're all going to do together dinner, whatever you want to do. And I may stay at the hotel with you guys too. I'm trying to decide if I want to camp out with you or not. I might do that. So it's going to be a really fun time. And it's 3 days of pants fitting, and March 8th, 9th, and 10th. So I want to just end with Diane, one of my very favorite followers, and I have a lot of very favorite followers, but she commented, and I think she sums up the the live, so I just want to share what she said, and then I think we're good, right? I think we're good. So she says, each one of these ladies have impacted me greatly in my success in the sewing room. The groups affiliated with each other is the best. I can only simply say thank you.
Aw.
So
I know that, Diane.
yes. So, and I mean, I love, and I always say this at the end of my lives, I start to ramble because I start to run out of things to say, and I can feel myself starting to do that now. But I always like to just thank everybody because it's the best part of my day to turn on my stream and know that someone's going to come and hang out with me, you know?
It means a lot. Yeah.
Because when you work at home in your own studio, you need that. So I really appreciate it, and I'm sure Saremy does, Trish and Katrina as well. So we really love and appreciate all of you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for
Absolutely.
having me, Jen.
Oh, this was so much fun. I'm so
Yes.
excited. But you can see I did a little, there's cleaning going on. See, I am cleaning, and I'm very excited to finish that up so I can stop talking about it and move on to something more exciting. So I'm really going to make it a big push to have next Friday be my grand finale of cleaning. Maybe not the grand
You can
finale.
do it, Jen.
Whatever done.
Do it.
So, but
Well,
anyway.
I'm super excited to see you ladies at Sew Expo.
Yeah, I can't wait to meet
Yes.
you all.
I'll be
It's gonna
thinking
fun.
of you the entire time, and I'm sure you're all going to be wonderful. And it makes my heart happy to know that you guys have each other to reach out to and hang out with if you need to. So I'll be thinking of you guys. So have a wonderful time at Sew Expo. I will put all the links to everything as soon as we get off. And I just want to thank you guys for joining me because that was super fun. And yeah, we'll get together again soon.
Thank you for doing this, Jen. It was really
Thank you,
lovely.
Jen.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you guys for coming. All right, I'm going to sign off now. So